This episode of the Lunch with Chris show is brought to you by my upcoming book, 30 Days to Limitless. You can find out more about it at limitless30.com.
This podcast is certified fresh. Freshmediaworks.com.
Welcome to the Lunch with Chris show, where your host, Chris Daly, talks with movers and shakers from all walks of life to get their opinions on important questions. Each season, there is a new question and new guests. This short, impactful show skips all the fluff and just brings you insightful answers from great guests. And now, doing his part to change the world in a positive way, your host, Chris Daly.
All right, I want to welcome Robert Scoble to the show. A lot of people know Robert Scoble from his current gig as the futurist for Rackspace, but probably more famous for being a big part of the Microsoft, I guess, behind-the-scenes blogging world. Robert, how would you describe who you are?
I go around the world and talk to tech executives and record that on video. I just did one a few minutes ago here at the Ritz in Half Moon Bay with the founders of SGM, a famous casual video game company. And I did that with Meerkat, and that video then gets tweeted out, and the audience shows up, and then it gets put up on YouTube, and then I put it on Facebook and LinkedIn and other places. So
nice. So you've got quite the tech background, and it seems like you're always at the forefront, whether it was the early days of Microsoft or now. What do you think is
yeah, I wish I was at the early days of Microsoft, because then I would be sitting on some island somewhere investing.
Right.
I'm not rich, unfortunately, but I was early days of blogging. I guess you could say that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, let's jump right into the question for the season, and that is, if a teenager were to come up to you and say, Robert, help me out, I need some advice, I'm about to start a career, a life, my next phase, what advice would you give to a teenager?
Oh, boy. At first, find something that you really love doing, because chances are you're going to be stuck doing that. So if you're doing something you really hate, you better be well compensated for that. But I'd rather, with my life, I'd rather do something I really love. And for me, that was always searching out what's new, what's the next technology coming out, or even the next band coming out. I was just at Coachella last weekend hearing new music. And to tell you the truth, I didn't go to the AC/DC concert, even though I love AC/DC. I went to the venues where there's new music, because I'm always about what's next, what's new. I'm not about what happened 30 years ago. I'm about what's happening right now, what's relevant right now.
Nice. So you tell that teenager to also pay attention to what's going on now, not fall back on the past.
I would pay attention to your heart. If your heart is telling you to become an actor, do that. If your heart is telling you to become a sommelier, do that. I'm staring at the wine collection here at the Ritz, even though I'm sober now. But there's people who that's their life. That's all they do is just study wine. And some of the best were here. If you want to be a plumber, great. Do that. My son's studying to be a cop right now at John Jay University in New York, and I want him to follow his passion, because that's going to keep him a lot happier than trying to chase something that, just because dad wants him to do something. I'd rather him find a passion in his life and follow that.
True. Great advice. Thank you. So first I want to thank you for being on the show, and but I also want to find out, what do you have coming up? Where will we see you popping up?
Oh, well, in just the last week, I've been, where was I? I was at the DJI press conference where they announced a new Phantom 3 drone. Then I went to Coachella, where I met with the geek who runs technology at the world's most influential music festival. then I went to Las Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters, where we saw another drone company come out, and I visited GoPro and a few other companies who are doing broadcast cameras. And next week I'm going to the Cards and Payment Show in Singapore, so that I get around.
Nice. So the short answer is we'll see you all over the place, the entire globe.
Yeah, but probably the best place to follow all of my stuff is on Facebook. And then every week I do an email newsletter, which I'll write about on Facebook, and you can subscribe off of Facebook somewhere.
Sweet. All right, and we will put links to all that in the show notes. Again, Robert, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and sit down with us.
Thank you so much. Beyond passion, my next piece of advice is get good at something and put the 10,000 hours. Do the homework. If you're going to be a musician, the only people who really make money are the ones at the top, 1% of the field. Everybody else has to chase the crumbs. And so if you can get to that top 1% in your field, you're doing pretty good. But that requires you to put in a lot of time and a lot of energy, playing a lot of crappy gigs. Every musician I meet has played a lot of crappy bars and house parties and stuff like that before they made it big.
Yeah, definitely.
In most industries.
Yeah, the stories of the 10-year overnight successes are all over the music industry.
No, it's in any industry, really. In Silicon Valley, 9 out of 10 companies fail. So becoming that top 10% is pretty hard, and that's of the ones that get funded, which is a very small number. Out of thousands of companies, only a few percent get funded. So it's life. You got to do the homework just to have a shot.
All right. Well, thank you again, Robert. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much.